Hello everybody, welcome back to Back Out of the Caves. This is Skyfly44, aka Zek44, and today I'm playing Gran Turismo 3. You're wondering why this suddenly has audio to it, some commentary onto it. And well, I'm an idiot, and I'm going to be taking on a special type of race today. This is going to be an endurance race. I'm going to be using the Mazda MX-5 Miata LS, and the thing about this race is the fact that you have to use production car, right off the, can't have anything tuned onto it. And the only way you can there's only two ways you can actually really make this a bit easier for you. There's a couple of Miatas here. However, only the LS actually has a bit more horsepower than the other ones. All the other ones are like around 120. Well, this one has 142. But the other two have like 120, 118. Which, we're not going to be using those. Go all the way up to the LS. Now, the only thing you can change when you're going into a race that specifically says normal car, or a car like, can't have any upgrades on it, the only one you can actually do is tires. Now, to make it really easy, go into tires and change it to super slick. This, especially if you're actually good, will allow you to, just stay out a lot longer. But let's see how much money we'll win from this. Only 100,000. Well, let's see what you can win for the other ones. This one, 150. This one, 300,000. The worst of them all, 500,000. Oh, I dread having to go and do that one just from the actual cover. That's gonna be fast cars, special stage Route 11, at most likely 2 hours. God damn. Oh well. We're going to be doing we're going to be starting this race. Granted, I am going to have to qualify a little bit just because, well, Apricot Hill is not my strongest track. If you haven't seen it, this is my strongest track. This is easily, ooh, it's only 40 laps, cool. We'll only have to pit in probably once. Okay, this one's actually pretty short. Oh well, when I come back, I'll be all warmed up. Okay, so I took a few laps to get used to the actual track. This is the problem, super slick. Super slick, unlike the difference between slick tires and soft tires, is that the farther you go towards soft tires, they sacrifice endurance for better grip and traction on the road, which makes it so you can take turns on a higher speed and just have a lot better time. But they, especially super soft tires in this game, don't last at all. They're generally best for anything that doesn't require you to have to worry about your tires, like an endurance race. Super slick, on the other hand, going down the slick way will give you, good endurance, but you can't really do too well on the track. You're going to take everything a little bit slower because you just can't turn as well as somebody with soft tires. Now, I've beaten every single Miata except for the other LS. And to be honest, I think that LS got a really damn good time there. One that is a bit lucky for him. I think he would be more about 145, just because I was going around on one of my laps, and he just wasn't catching me. The time between, or the distance between me and the other Miata LS was about the same. Though I can definitely see myself not being able to get as good times. However, if he's going in every single 8 laps, and I'm getting, like 16, 20 seconds ahead of him because I'm not going in myself, because I have super slick tires, I definitely feel I'm going to be getting, you know, a good leeway between me and him. Well, let's start this. Ooh, auto drive. You don't see that too much in Gran Turismo 3. You see a lot more in Gran Turismo 4. Oh, a hell of a lot more. Though I don't think these guys have soft tires, they probably just have medium. Because if they had soft, they would be going in like every fucking 3 laps. Though I am going to be doing a little bit worse than I would be, with, you know, commentary and talking on a simulation racing game, but, oh well. I shouldn't do too badly. If he can't actually go and get like 2 seconds on me or at least 2 to 3 seconds every single lap, which he's not going to be able to do, most likely. He's just not going to be able to beat me when it comes to, you know, time, because of that the pit stops they have to take. The strategy that goes into these games. Strategy, mathematics, of course. Oh crap. That's not looking to be too good. Yeah, that wasn't good performance. Granted, my tires haven't heated up a bit. It's generally your tires work best when they get to the green. They go from blue to green to yellow to orange to red. And if you're not getting rid of them when it comes to red, you're screwing up. Yeah, I definitely screwed up in that little kink. Generally, the kink is generally the hardest part for the AI to actually go through a track, especially the one in Laguna Seca. That one is incredibly difficult for the AI to do when it's so easy for a human player to actually go and do. Oh yeah, he's getting pretty far now. I have to go and see if I can get a good time through that last well, not the last turn, but that little kink. Ah, damn, that guy's actually catching up to me. Oh, that guy pushed me. Forza Motorsport flashbacks. I probably could have went to a different set of tires, to something that wasn't just slick. But this should still work for me. Yeah, I should be getting around like 60 in that turn, at least. I wouldn't be in this position I'm in now if I actually didn't go and get that. Oh well. I'm gonna have to do much better to actually get my some better times. But I wonder when they're actually going to go in. Because I haven't done an endurance race in quite a long time. Possibly last year? When I was playing Gran Turismo 3? Yeah, I was playing quite a bit of Gran Turismo 3. And then one day, it was a Friday, I just thought to myself, what the hell, let's put in Final Fantasy 9. Then I played Final Fantasy 9 for 10 hours. Then Saturday, I played it all day, and then Sunday, I finished it. I didn't have anything to do with that, those days. I need to get better at that turn, too. But, I just stopped playing Gran Turismo 3 after a little while. For my childhood memories, though, oh, he's actually not getting all that far away from me anymore. Not to mention, slick tires that are green handle better than soft tires that are, you know, red. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah, look, pitting. Not even 8 laps. 3. Oh, wow. And to think I doubted myself. That's interesting. I knew there was something funny about how fast he was going, how well he was doing. That guy definitely has soft tires. But actually, it kind of feels like in the game that the more laps you have, there has to be like some kind of modifier to how fast your tires actually go and wear out. Because when you're actually playing in a if you're playing a like 5-lap race, your medium tires don't even, they last like 4 laps, and then they're pretty much red by you know, 5. But then something like this, it would probably last to like 8 laps. Oh yeah, I need to get better at that turn. Oh well. But how many of you have actually played Gran Turismo 3 as when you were a child? Because this was my first, well, second racing game. Actually third technically, but probably the first real racing game we actually had for the PS2. I remember playing Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 1, Vanishing Point, fuck that game, on the PS1. And then when we got the PS2, the first 2 games we actually got before our birthdays came around, because that's not too far from the Christmas season. We actually, when we originally got the PS2, we got Midnight Club and ATV Off-Road Racing. The ATV game, I don't really remember too much of it. We played it like maybe a few times. And then there was Midnight Club, which we actually played quite a bit, which was really, really hard. And it looked great back when we looked at the PS2 was, you know, absolutely amazing. But I bought Midnight Club a couple of months ago. I put it in, I tried it. It's not as hard as I remember it to be. But then again, I'm more talking about the races. I thought the races used to be incredibly hard. Just like trying to go and get to the races, you know, trying to catch those goddamn other racers and stick with them for a long time. Damn, that was really difficult, and it still is difficult. Number one reason why I don't feel like actually going and playing that game for all of you. That one would not be something I'm doing immediately. And when it comes down to Midnight Club LA, I'm definitely not playing that on the higher difficulties. I'm at most playing on normal. Or I'm just going to pay my brother to play the entire game. Or just make him do all the parts that I want to do. He's better at that game than I am. Though, to be honest, I used to be, back in the good old days when everybody in my house except my mother played video games, we all played racing games. Father was too cautious, brother was too reckless, and I always got the best lap times. Over time, you know, I play a shitload of genres. I play pretty much everything, or every, like, overall and sub, you know, genre. Not like the sub-genres. I play most of them except for sports games, or at least realistic sports games. As more in like real people, like something more like Madden, NFL, FIFA. I wouldn't actually want to play those games just because, really, if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go outside and play. But if something like Mario and all of his sports games, you know, then you're kind of also playing for the characters. And holy shit, I'm actually doing really well now. Look at that lap time in lap 5. I'm not even paying attention anymore. Oh, this is going right into just auto. But yeah, as I started playing everything, my brother kind of just dropped a lot of his genres, and now he mainly plays racing games now. Pretty much just only racing games. And actually FPS games used to be what he really played, and the racing games were his side. Now, especially after going, you know, starting to become a mechanic, going to school for that, racing games is really the majority of what he actually plays. However, yeah, I definitely would say his skills are better than me. But he only really plays simulation and more like I can't really say semi-simulator, because you know it still has a lot of shit that that you do that's not simulating. But something like Need for Speed, some of them, I can't really say it's not a semi-simulator, but it's not an arcade. But he just won't play any kart racers and or just arcade racers in general. Else I could probably get him to play Burnout and you know, Mario Kart. Oh well. But I remember a time when I was on top. Good old days. Yeah, see? This is... I'm going to ask you. I know for a fact that there's like a Zen mode that I have. And that probably, you know, other people have too. I don't know. In which, you know, you're playing... you know, like a racing game, simulation racing game especially, in which you're going around a track, you know, a lot, and that you sort of kind of start phasing out, but you start doing even better. Because like that, I'm putting like half of my attention onto the screen right now. I'm just staring at like a focal point, and then just my peripheral vision's really doing well for me. And I'm actually getting these times. Oh, this is just amazing. Again, super slick is generally what you're going to want in a endurance race. The thing about it is you can go all the way down to however long your opponents will actually, you know, be pitting in. Never use any tires that will actually allow your opponent to outlast you in an endurance race when it comes to pitting. Only ever pit the same amount of times they do. Never actually go and pit more than they do. Because generally, if it works for you when trying to outlast your opponent, it also works for your opponent, for the AI, if, you know, you're pitting in more. But damn, I don't want to do the special stage for Route 11 one. The two tracks I remember not being able to do all that well for pretty much ever. Actually, 3. Was that it was Apricot Hill was one I couldn't really do all too well. Oh, that's how you take that turn. Special Stage Route 11 was always a track I've never been able to do all that well. Though I've actually completely beaten Gran Turismo 1 once. Except for one little, the last tournament. Oh crap! That took that one bad though. And it was 2 Special Stage Route 11 endurance races, added with the Grand Valley one, but the 2 Special Stage Route 11 ones were basically one way and the other way, and GT1's Special Stage Route 11 was sort of difficult to navigate through just because of it was kind of, well, a bit pixely. Oh crap, that was bad. Well, it looks like that guy's pitting in again. Wow. I think that one lasted a little bit longer. I don't know. I don't know if he pitted in around like lap 6, but I'm not going to need to for a good while. The power, the absolute power. This isn't going to last more than an hour, which is, well, it is going to last a bit more than an hour, but it's not going to last too much more. At most an hour and 10 minutes. Which is nice because after all of this is over, I'm going to be taking a nice shower because I just don't like, I don't really like how I'm feeling today. Kind of feel like I have a headache and all. Kind of feel sick a bit. Ah, damn, this isn't going to be good lap time. One of the things that the actual Gran Turismo 4 actually puts in is not only do you have to pay attention to your tires, your tire wear, you also have to pay attention to fuel. And that can lead you into some dangerous parts. But it's not just that. The pitting time actually varies because you may, you know, put in quite a little bit of fuel and it will end before your tires, or it might last twice as long if you're using super slick and you have to, you know, put in the full freaking tank. I've never had that. I've never had a moment in that game where I've actually run out of fuel, but I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. I wouldn't even chance it, because the only times you ever have to worry about fuel is on endurance races, and you don't want to have to start one of those again. And the only time you would ever attempt, you know, get close to running out of fuel is if you wanted to go a bit faster during the last leg of the race, and you know, you just fill up as much as you need. And you don't want, especially on that goddamn German track, that freaking long ass one. I can't, the name escapes me at the moment, but damn, is that one. There's a 4-hour race, there's a 24-hour race. I'm just saying, when I get to Gran Turismo 4, I'm going to be doing most of the endurance races. I am not going to touch the 24-hour races unless I'm going into the Unless I'm going to go and do the game in B-Spec. In which B-Spec was a actual, it was a, what was it called? It was basically like a manager mode in which you could be the guy telling the drivers, hey, good time to overtake. You know, you should go and pit in and, you know, shit like that. It was actually an interesting little, what was it, thing that you could actually do in Gran Turismo 4. I believe they brought it back in Gran Turismo 5 as well. And I think it's actually better in 5. The only problem in 5 is I don't believe you're actually able to go and speed it up. And 4, you could actually speed it up to about 3 times the speed. So your, you know, your actual, time overall for a 24-hour race would actually take just around 8. Well, a bit more than 8, you know, putting the time down to, you know, think to, you know, pit the guy, all that shit, just things happening. You could probably take it down to around like 8.5 hours, 9 hours. But the idea of having to upload such a long video kind of scares me. Because that isn't even, that, oh damn. For a 30-minute video, that comes to around a gig. A gig uploading at my speed is around 40 minutes. Using that, let's see. If I'm going for about 8.5, that would actually be around 17 gigs. And 17 gigs would be what? Oh, this doesn't seem like it's going to be good. That over 10 hours at least. 10 to 12 hours is a rough estimate. Probably on good conditions with my internet connection. It's fucking half a day. I can't even sleep that off. Ah, damn. There are 9-hour races that I'll probably be doing on that, but I'll be bringing in people. Any of the races in this game that aren't endurance, I'm most likely just going to be going and talking over. Oh well. Well, this is the game though. And I was going to go and finish the entire part of the game, because I've never actually beaten this game 100%. Gran Turismo 4 came out before I actually got to beat this game 100%. Not to mention, there was also games like Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, Jak 3, that kind of preoccupied a lot of my time. Even then, I still played a lot of Gran Turismo 3 when 4 came out, just didn't all that much. Played a lot of Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, a lot more Spyro the Dragon, even though I had a PS2, and I just never found the time to actually finish Gran Turismo 3. And when, you know, time went on, got into the Need for Speed games, mainly the underground games. Those are, you know, still my favorite Need for Speed games. You know, going into Burnout, it was kind of tough trying to finish off Gran Turismo 3. Damn well was never going to be doing Gran Turismo 4. But there's a couple of things I'm not going to be completing in Gran Turismo 4. Even if I actually went and did the 24-hour races in B-Spec mode, I am not going to be doing those missions. There are missions in the game. So there's 2 of them. 2 types of them. The first type are you have a section of a track you have to go through. and you are pitted versus the same exact car. Beat it. That's kind of difficult. What really though makes me not, I'm saying I'm not going to do it, is the second type of race. Oh yeah, and I believe you actually fail if you go out into the grass, so you have to be good at actual tracks in the car. The last one, the other one, is basically a race where you have to wait. No, it will be like this. I believe it was like a Infinity or something like that raceway. Some track in the fourth one, in which you are. It's a Corvette race. The first one is a Corvette C1. Then it goes to C2, C3, C4, C5, and then you're in the C5R, the most powerful out of all of them. You have to wait. Each and every single one of them has to wait a certain amount of time before they're let loose. The Corvette C1 is halfway across the track, and you have to beat it in one lap with the C5R. The thing about it is, if you fail, you have to sit and wait through that entire beginning section. I have no idea why it wasn't a running start with the, the AI just, starting from far in the track. I have no idea why they didn't do that. Because it's not so bad with some of them, but that freaking long-ass German track with the Mercedes, that one absolutely can go die in a hole. Just because if you fuck that up, you're sitting there for another 5 minutes doing absolutely nothing. Because the farthest away car is, an early ass Mercedes, and you're in you're in like a race car, and it's not like there's a race car as the AI. You have 5 minutes before it goes and does something, and you're in a slow ass car. Being in a slow ass car would allow you to, take the entire, just everything so easily. You'd be taking turns, perfectly and all that shit. When you're in a race car, you're going fucking fast, especially when you have a time limit to all that shit. That sucks. Definitely one of the reasons why I never actually finished Gran Turismo 4. Though I don't know if there's more meat into Gran Turismo 4 or 3. It kinda sucks. The fourth one has a lot of one-make type races from the second game, though. It was fleshed out a bit more that you have to do. But other than that, for the major races that you have to do, there are actually few of them. They put a lot into the one-make races, which I do like, but at the same time, it kind of makes this game seem like it has more meat to it, or more events to actually go and do than the other one. Though Gran Turismo 4 has a lot more meat to it, because the amount of cars are, exponential. There's multiple more. This has like 150. That one has over 700. And it's not something like Gran Turismo 5 where they could, could just take models away from like 4, put better skins and, textures on it. But, going from Gran Turismo 3 to 4, they had to go and create all that shit. Though I still love 4, but I think 4 was where some of the sins of the Gran Turismo franchise would, start to appear. Number 1, long-ass development time. That thing came out like early 2005. I believe it was, because Forza Motorsport. I wonder. It might have been March 2005. I don't really remember. It might have been 2004, but I believe it was 2005. Forza Motorsport, on the back of it, says it's better than Gran Turismo 4. And that should have came out either a little bit before or a little bit after it. And it came out around that time. But, Gran Turismo 4, one of the sins that actually on it that kind of went into some of the other actual, you know, 5 and 6 was, in Gran Turismo 4, the amount of tracks go from less than 20 regular tracks, to around 50. There are a lot of tracks in Gran Turismo 4. And while this is definitely good, considering how many are in 3, and the fact that I'm showing you the same tracks quite a lot, this was 4, this wouldn't be the case, but I can't really say anything, but the original tracks, which are my favorite tracks in, you know, all of Gran Turismo, they kind of start taking a backseat. This won't be a problem until Gran Turismo 5, in which almost all of the original tracks, but a few, take a backseat. But then again, the single player in Gran Turismo 5 really can go suck a dick. I'm just going to throw that out there. I, you know, forced myself to like the game, but the single player. Gran Turismo was always a single player franchise. I mean, you could do online on 4, I believe. But then again, it was a PS2 online, which is not something that was all that popular compared to, you know, like Xbox Live and the Xbox. But I just, damn it. The single player was neglected for the multiplayer experience. Multiplayer experience was pretty good, but when you have some events that are literally just one track, one actual race in the event, you're fucking up somewhere, in my opinion. The only, I remember specifically the Mini Cooper race only required one race to beat the event. And it's not like, you know, like the wind on this one, on this game, which only has one. That was test course, like either 10 or 20 laps on it. That goes for a bit more time than just it's just the regular actual what was it called? Oh, damn, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, that's right. It goes faster than that Mini Cooper race. Yeah, I'm gonna go for around like 5 more laps before I actually go in. Once the yellow tires start turning to orange, then I'll go in. I'm not waiting for red. Fuck that. I'm not gonna be able to get good lap times at that point. But oh, what were some of the other? Gran Turismo 5 didn't use a lot of the original tracks. A lot of the original tracks are some of my favorites, and actually in Gran Turismo 5. My favorite track in all of Gran Turismo is Deep Forest Raceway. Deep Forest, pretty much, just, it's one of the most beautiful tracks in the entire game, and most of the game is probably the most beautiful track. And especially when you're going around a track quite a lot, you know, 40 freaking times right here, it's good to have a track that actually looks, you know, interesting. without being bizarre. Though having a bizarre looking track isn't all that bad. One of the reasons why I don't necessarily like the a lot of the more, you know, real tracks is that a lot of them start looking all the same. I really do like Apricot Hill. I believe this is an original track, mainly because it's either come from the second game or the first, and there wasn't too many real tracks in the first couple of games. Real tracks started coming in a lot more in the later tracks. Damn it. But a lot of the original tracks being like Grand Valley, Deep Forest, Trial Mountain, Autumn Ring, all those. Anything from the first game is an original track. The second one came with, you know, like Super Speedway, which is a real track. Not to mention Laguna Seca was like the first truly real track that actually came into Gran Turismo. Any of the ones with the bland names, so usually it wasn't, you know, our original. Which is kind of stupid, considering the fact that generally when people make original stuff, it has, you know, quite bizarre names or quite unique names, not bland. Well, that's also coming from a writer, so... No, fiction writer at least. I'm getting really good at that little turn, but one of the reasons why I really like even this track, look at this track. It does definitely feel like it could be a real track. However, at the same time, just looking at some of the cliff sides, just how forested it is, it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, in a lot of tracks, like real tracks are just basically plains in somewhere. You know, flat land, maybe, you know, it can be hilly, but it really doesn't have, you know, like cliff sides on it, you know, lakes near it, all that stuff. You can find that in other you know, some of the original tracks. It makes the tracks interesting to look at. Okay, I'm going to have a little pause break here. I'll take out the, you know, I'll take out the length of the break. Okay, I'm back. I did a few things. Now, get a drink, eat a cookie. Nice, freshly made yesterday sugar cookies with blue food coloring on top. Yeah. Feeling all better, but that Zen mode I was talking about earlier, that's completely gone. I'm gonna have to get used to the track again. Oh, it's gonna suck. I have no idea what I was talking about before, just so you know. But I just went through all of the, I just went in my head over that break, all of the different actual racing games I've played, all the different series that, you know, racing games I've actually played. Just how different a lot of them are. The only, I have a question, have any of you played Asphalt 3D? On the 3DS. I've played Asphalt games before, I know what I'm getting into, but I kind of want to go and get I do definitely want to go and get another game for my 3DS that's, you know, dirt cheap. Oh shit, I wasn't paying attention there. I really do want to go and get an actual, you know, 3DS game that's kind of dirt cheap. And the number one I can actually find is Asphalt 3D. Now the Metacritic score on it is low, like around 43. However, some of the actual, you know, the reviews on Amazon weren't all that bad. Now, the entire reason why I'm still thinking about it is because I know exactly what Asphalt is. Asphalt is a series of racing games that generally came, a lot of them came out around the launch periods of handheld systems. Asphalt 1 for the DS, Asphalt 2 for the PSP, though it was also on the DS and that's when I played. And, you know, Asphalt 3D on the 3DS and, you know, on that stupid iOS shit. But, I've played Asphalt 2, I've played Asphalt 1, I know what I'm getting into. They prey on the fact that, you know, launch period generally doesn't have racing games, and so it's, you know, one of those first racing games you can actually go and get on these handhelds. And granted, I definitely did like Asphalt 2. Asphalt 1 could have been a bit better, but is Asphalt 3, well, Asphalt 3D, it's not Asphalt 3 because of all the versions on iOS, I believe. But is Asphalt 3DS bad? Or is there a reason to go and get it? I've not played too many racing games on the 3DS, other than kart racing ones like Sega and Sonic's All-Star Racing, Transformed, and Mario Kart 7. I played those, like both of them, but I've never really actually played a more traditional racing game. Actually, are there any of them that are actually good on the 3DS? Because, to be honest, I would probably go for the Vita, just for a racing game, just because of how much fun I'm actually having on the PSP with racing games. Well, to be honest, I actually got a new one not too long ago. It was one that was staring me in the face for quite a long time, and I'm in the middle of being disappointed with it, and also being, you know, understanding. Just because the game is Need for Speed Underground Rivals. Why I'm understanding is the first, you know, PSP Underground game, and the first PSP Need for Speed game, and if you look at it, it looks like a really good version of what they were trying to do on the DS and the Game Boy Advance. If you've ever played Need for Speed Underground 2 on the Game Boy Advance, you know exactly how the game works. Because it's basically a better version, at the same time a worse version. Anybody who thought that the drift attack shit was a good idea, they should just be fired. Oh, I hope they were fired. That was stupid. I would have much rather had, you know, regular drifting. And the thing about it is, I don't know about the Nintendo DS Need for Speed Underground 2 game, because I have played that version, but very little of it. But the Game Boy Advance version actually had real drifting. Need for Speed Underground Rivals on the PSP did not. And, while it isn't, you know, like, super bad, it's kind of annoying. Because, right, it's more about doing drifts than it is actually, you know, doing them well and scoring points for it. Oh shit, I was supposed to go in there. I'll go in next time. But, that's annoying. Again, if you ever played Need for Speed Underground 2 on the Game Boy Advance, you know exactly what you're getting into. To be honest, if you played any Need for Speed game on the Game Boy Advance, you know exactly what you're getting into with that game. Though, why I was... Another reason why I wasn't disappointed was I played the Most Wanted game on the PSP. And I was a bit skeptical about it because, well, I just never really... This was back when loading times, I didn't stand them as much. And the game was kind of bland to begin with because, well, I never really liked Most Wanted as much as other people. And to be honest, it seems like everybody else thinks Most Wanted is better than I do. Though I'm not I'm not a hater. I don't actually hate the game. I just don't think it's as good as some of the other ones. It's my brother's favorite out of all of them so far. But I never liked circuit racing, at least, and Most Wanted. It always bored me, and it kind of transferred over to the PSP game. I would have to go and buy it again to, have a better evaluation of the game. But the other reason why... Oh shit, again, haven't put it in. The real reason why I was disappointed, instead of, it being exactly what I thought it was going to be, was because of how well they did Need for Speed Carbon Own the City. Own the City is definitely within my top 5 favorite Need for Speed games. Just because the game was great and fun, and actually had a, really interesting actual city. Very distinct too in some of the areas. I remember a lot of the areas in that game. Not to mention the actual story was really good for an actual racing game, especially when you actually compare that shit to something like Undercover or any of those other skeletal like Need for Speed stories. Absolutely no meat on it. It's just there. Oh, it's just there. It's a story, but there's really no reason why you should pay attention to it. Need for Speed Underground Own the City actually had a really nice story, which actually had me a bit invested into it. While it wasn't intrusive, and more than that, it was it just, oh shit, again I didn't go in the pit, but it was a it was just the quality versus what you would think what you would be getting with the racing game story. It was definitely above a racing game story without really going above, it wasn't a story that you're going to get in a more story-based game. It doesn't beat those, but for what it could have been, oh, it was great. Oh my, I can't believe on the 26th one I actually got that time, considering the fact that my tires are getting bad. That red-looking one, that orange reddish one, that one's going to be a bad one. That's when you have to go in. So to be honest, the game right now is kind of glitched out, just because the entire pitting in thing should not still be there. To be honest, actually, hopefully when I actually go in there myself, that will be removed. Or hopefully when somebody else actually goes and pits in, it's going to change. It's going to change, and then, I'll finally leave. No, it's just... Damn it! It doesn't change at all, it's just stuck there. Oh well, we're going to have to go through with this on. But I've only had the pit once. This is my only time I'm ever going to pit. And they had the pit how many times? Oh, that's great. Really? I've never had this happen to me before. It kind of reminds... I've been finding a lot more glitches in racing games in the past year. A lot of them. My favorite one is still the Need for Speed Underground 2. I actually kept this in one of those Need for Speed Underground 2 videos. And it was a... Basically, I even looked at the actual video itself. I was just driving like normal. I did not hit anything, and apparently I crashed and just went in the sky, and I wasn't coming down. I actually had to go and use the reset option to actually go to the ground, and because of it I actually lost the race. But that was so freaking interesting. Oh crap, that I was not expecting it. And I just had to show people. Because it's interesting when you just, for absolutely no reason, fly right up into the sky. Yeah, all these people actually think they're going to be able to beat me now. What, did I lap everybody? Or is there one guy that hasn't been lapped? Okay. Could this be that, Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, buddy. I never actually want to go and knock them into the dirt. It just feels rude. And plus, this isn't Forza Motorsport. I'll tell you why. Gran Turismo went down. It kind of went into a downward spiral with the last 3 games, including the PSP one. Forza Motorsport started fairly well. It was a game that, while, you know, supplying the same good simulation racing part, it was, you know, had its differences from Gran Turismo 4 and 3 that it was actually still good. Not to mention, there was, well, they still actually had, you know, quite a few similar tracks, the same tracks actually. There were also quite a few tracks specifically just on Forza Motorsport. That just weren't on Gran Turismo. Probably my favorite being that Maple Valley one, which I just recently learned a couple of weeks ago was actually a real track. I actually thought that one was just a I thought it was an original track just because of the design. It just didn't. It didn't send off the "this is actually a real track" vibe. Especially with the name. Crap. I'm doing a lot worse because my tires need to warm up a bit. Again, green and yellow are the best ones. Not blue. Definitely not the bad ones. But Forza Motorsport started off pretty good. But the thing about the game is the fact that it actually has difficulty levels. Now, the number one thing I hate about Forza Motorsport, is the fact that they're putting in to make things difficult. They are completely breaching logic. It's just, it's stupid. It's completely illogical what the AI will actually do to go and win. What am I really talking about? It's mainly the fact that the AI on the harder difficulties will attempt to pit the player, knock him around a bit. Now, this wouldn't piss me off. This was an arcade game or a semi-simulator. This is supposed to be a real simulation game, and you're going to make the AI attempt to pit you at the speeds you're going at? No. It sounds so stupid. What really happened was, when I was playing Forza Motorsport 3, this became a lot more apparent. Because I wasn't even playing on the harder difficulties, and the AI was trying to pit me. Granted, it makes the game a little bit harder, but then again, in, I believe, 3 and onwards, or was it 4 and onwards, where you could actually go and, use the, rewind button, which is fucking stupid. One thing I liked about, Gran Turismo, and especially Gran Turismo's endurance races, is while you can actually, get far ahead, a bad fuck up, and you possibly can lose. You can't just coast through some of this stuff. The rewind, I believe, is stupid, just because then where... Really? This was also in the game Grid, which I played, and I really don't like all that much. Though, to be honest, the next time I play it, I'm going to be playing it I'm going to be playing one of the console versions, not the PC, because I've had problems with controls, using a controller, and PC games. So I don't know if it's that. If it sucks on a console game, then it just sucks outright. But can anybody explain to me why you would in a simulator, when you're going around and trying to be better than Gran Turismo as a simulator, you have damage. You have freaking damage. And it affects you. You're trying to be an actual, racing simulator. But you have the AI do stuff that no driver in their right mind would ever do. As you can see, it bothers the hell out of me. And it's the #1 reason why I don't necessarily like some of the later Forza Motorsport games. I haven't played 4. I've seen my brother play 4 because that's pretty much his primary game right now. What he actually plays, and he's been playing that for a while. Sometimes he puts in Horizon, which he initially didn't like, but he got over it and he started liking it a little bit more. Except for that last one, was it Horizon 2? I really haven't been following the series anymore. My brother still gets them, and so I actually see the games themselves. But I'm gonna have to give them another try. That just irks the shit out of me. The other thing that I don't necessarily like is just how they say endurance races are, just a couple of, I remember in the original one, like, endurance race was like 15 laps, 20 laps. That shit can go for around like 30 minutes. Hell, this is the shortest this is the shortest one in the game. This was going for, what, an hour? this endurance race is going to be going for on and on. Even in, especially in 4, that shit gets to be long. Even in the, you know, the original Gran Turismo, those went on for well over an hour. You're just giving me another race that, you know, on Gran Turismo could very well just be a late game race, because some of these later races actually last quite a long time. I believe like the average or the minimum in the last actual in the professional events are 10 laps, and the super secret last actual race, which well, championship anyway, I believe is either 15 or 20 laps for every single actual race itself. You can save it in between, and to be honest, I'm going to be, when I get to that, I'm going to be going and basically splitting that actual championship up into 10 parts, one for each race. I am not going to be doing. Oop. Well, I hiccuped. I'll definitely be cutting that up. I wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, let's see. I don't think I'm getting. Did I actually get a better lap time at some part? In Gran Turismo 4, instead of it just being, you know, like best lap, it will actually have best and then what actual lap you were playing on. Like it will be like best, like 16, and then it'll actually have the time, which I like, because you can see yourself getting better and better. Generally, you do in these types of endurance races. You get better and better. I mean, look, that I was doing. Sometimes I was getting through that on like 45 or 60, you know, on a good one. No, 66. Yeah. One of the things I did actually like about Forza Motorsport was the just the scoring system, and how they actually had like every single car had a score set to it, and the more you upgraded it, the higher the score went. And you know, you would have races that are basically you can't go over the score or it will be invalid. And the Gran Turismo games don't necessarily have that too much of a degree, because in a lot of these there will have races in which you have to use a production car. There will be races where you have to use a specific car. There will be, in like Gran Turismo 2, there will be, you know, horsepower limit to some of these actual events. However, they're generally not all that restrictive. On the beginning, you know, like on the beginning MR races, I could easily just go and use my Raybrig NSX or an Arta NSX, Castro NSX, and just, you know, put those in there, and then, you know, win basically instantly. Because they don't have a shot in hell, well, to beat me. You can do that, which is one of the things I was trying not to do in this series of these videos. I could do better. I could be much farther if I wasn't trying to get my vehicle to be around the same, as good as everybody else. You know, for tension and all. Except when it comes to professional, though, professional races and the endurance races, I'm not going to be doing that, though. I'm going all out because they're not going to give me a chance if I don't. Full upgrades and everything. Only 3.5 laps left. And then we're going to be getting only 100 grand, but it really depends on what the car is going to be that we're actually going to receive. Generally, sometimes in these ones, you might not actually go and get a good, good money for what you're doing, because in an hour, I could have actually went and did the GT World Championship on the beginner one. They only 3 laps. 10 races around like 3 laps each. I could have probably did it in the same amount of time. Get 100 grand for the actual races themselves, and then an extra 50 for the winning the championship. What the endurance races really do is it actually gives you a bit more when it comes to the actual car you win. Like the Super Speedway one, I remember winning a Formula 1 car, which we are going to have to be getting one of those at one point, because the last super secret event is going to be a Formula 1 event. And obviously that is probably going to be the hardest actual thing to do in the entire game. The longest too. And damn, I'm going to hate myself. I'm really going to hate myself when I actually do that. Oh well. When I said that a while back, right around when I had 31 videos, I said that was around 10% of the actual game done. The game actually would say it was around like 31%. However, the length of the events and the races in the beginning of the game do not compare to the actual length in the latter portion of the game. Again, look at 2 laps versus 5 in amateur, or going even farther, like 10 in professional, that's the average. And going even farther in like an endurance race, which 40, 60 laps that you can go through, or just the plain 2 hours. That shit gets to be pretty long. And it just counts it as one event. So you're not really doing too much better. Well, only 2 laps left. I talked quite a lot. Well, this is still nothing to some of the sessions I have with other games. Damn well longest I've ever talked when it comes to a racing game. I think I'm actually going to be going, if I don't continue playing this game, I'm probably going to be going over to some leisure play with some nice racing games I have there. I have a shitload to talk about some of those. Not to mention, I do want to showcase Need for Speed Underground Rivals, because the place I buy games at just recently put their Game Boy Advance games to, instead of being 6 for one game, they've actually changed it to either $6 for a game or 3 for $10. And especially considering I want to go and get a Game Boy player for my GameCube, that actually looks to be a pretty good deal. Though there aren't too many of the games I actually want. I kind of was having a difficult time figuring out what games do I want then and there. But oh well. I got, what was it, Yu Yu Hakusho Spirit Detective, which I only really got because I just recently rewatched that entire series. Well, not Chapter Black, and after I sort of kind of fizzle out after the Dark Tournament. The Dark Tournament is by far the best actual part of the of that story, and the ending kind of sucked to begin with. So I just never watched Chapter Black. Oh well. That arc, a lot of people like, but I just don't. It's not that I don't like it, it's just it's best to end it at the best part of it, the story, then go on and continue just to be disappointed with the ending. But oh well. Or at least disappointed with, not with the ending, but the last arc. It's just way too freaking short. Other than that, I actually got this game called Fortress, which I just got because I liked the actual label on it. And for some reason, the label just kind of reminded me of Locke's Quest, which is a game I always really wanted to play. And I also got Need for Speed Underground 2. This is probably going to be opening up to later down the line. I'm going to be just going and playing Need for Speed Underground 2 for the Game Boy Advance. Because that would be an easy as hell. That's easiest thing I could actually go and do for any kind of video. I'm going to be keeping that for when I'm desperate. But oh well. 100 grand. Yeah, we're skipping that. Yeah, remember when that Miata LS actually had me worried that it was going to possibly, you know, outrun me when it came to time versus, you know, the actual the penalty of going in too many times in the pit stop. I thought I was actually gonna have a little bit of trouble in the very beginning until he went into that level, lap 3. Now let's see, are we going to get screwed? Fuck you. Yes, we're getting screwed, everybody. Ah, damn it. There were 3 Miatas there, which are selling would give us around 5,000 at most. They taunt us with the Formula 1 car, which can be sold for a crap ton of money. And, you know, one of the best cars in the game. We get something you buy at the very beginning. It's not even LS. It's not even freaking LS. You freaking kidding me? Okay, it's the second level Miata. They didn't, you know, kick us in the soft spot. That we actually got an actual, you know, the worst Miata. If they did that, I would have been pissed. Because, well, I won on a harder actual race, the Miata LS. I think it was the beginner Spider and Roadster race. I won this thing, and that's basically why I did this. What you? That's gonna piss me. However, I did win the GT1 road car on when I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that, and I think I've already lucked out. So I'm not. There are multiple different times that we can actually go and get a Formula 1 car. So I'm not too hurt over that. But okay. See ya, everybody. See you in the next part. Though I doubt that one's gonna be commentary.